So this talk is about the evolution of the tech stack at ibibo. My name is Jyoti. I am the chief architect there. As Vikal said, let's keep it interactive. You can interrupt me anytime, and we can discuss anything that you guys want. So ibibo by most metrics or matrices is the number one OTA in India. Every year we do 5 times more business than the last year. So you can say we are growing. We have an average of about 400,000 requests per hour. But sometimes our super aggressive marketing team sends out push notifications, and what we effectively have is a DDoS, right? So traffic is very spiky, and we need, so our stack has evolved to catch up with those spikes. And a significant percentage of our transactions happens on mobile, and that percentage is ever growing. ibibo is part of the ibibo group. The other things in the company are Redbus, which acquired a couple of years back. We have something called as Ride, which is basically a car sharing app. You guys should check it out. And we also have seller side inventory. So if you have a hotel and you want to advertise your inventory, we have apps and mobile apps as well as desktop apps for that also. So what is the problem we are trying to solve, right? So we have, so like most e-commerce companies, we are a marketplace. We have customers who want to buy things, and we have sellers who want to sell things, and we try to connect the two. But all of them have different requirements. So the customers want something which is consistent. Like if they search for a price on the search results page and they go for a coffee, come back, start booking, they don't want it to change. Otherwise they go to Facebook and say people are cheating us, this and that, right? So they want the price to be consistent. They want it to be performant. Like while if we try too much to be consistent and we don't give response in time, people are just going to get turned off and go somewhere else. They want options, right? So some people want to optimize for money when they are traveling. Like they want the shortest price to go from A to B. Some people want to optimize for time, right? And they want these options to be sensible. So we can't give generic options to people, right? For example, if a layover is for 18 hours, right? Most people say, I mean, this is a bogus flight, I don't want to look at it. And they may go to a competitor, right? But for someone, let's say, is going to US and he's saving 60,000 rupees by that 12 hour of stay over, he might say, okay, I'll save the 50,000 rupees. I'll book a hotel in Hong Kong and roam around a bit. It's all good for me. So basically, customers are looking for sensible options. On the other side, the sellers, they have a multitude of formats. So some of them still give us SOAP, some are JSON, some are RPCs. They have something called as look to book. So if we do 100 searches and we don't do a booking with them, they charge us a lot of money. So we can't go to all these sellers every time we get a search to optimize our profits. They don't have any SLAs, right? So they can go down anytime, and we don't want to define our SLAs by theirs, right? So typically when you search for hotels, it's not that we search for one. We have to pretty much search for everyone, and we don't want one vendor who's having a bad day to basically slow down our searches.
What is SLA?
Service level agreement. So basically how fast you want to get back. Hey, good question. Price. And they also give us duplicates. Everyone understands duplicates. So, like for example, right? I mean, Indigo will give us Bombay, Delhi. SpiceJet will give us Bombay, Delhi, right? And sometimes there are guys who are aggregators like Galileo. So they give us Indigo inventory as well as SpiceJet inventory. So we have to dedupe that, and we have to dedupe that in real time. I mean, as we get a request, we go hit all these guys. They give us requests in their own sweet time. We dedupe and we give the search results back to the customer. There are other stakeholders there, like we publish hotels to Google, and they have very stringent SLAs from us. Like if we don't perform, if we don't give responses which are correct or which are performant, they blacklist us, and we don't want that, right? Because significant searches happen when you say hotel in Goa on Google. That is a significant percentage of our traffic. So we want to keep Google happy, right? So basically for Google, we push data. And what Google does is also crawls the price. So for example, if we push saying this price is at 2000, right, and Google crawls at some time in it finds it at 1800, it will basically say you guys are giving me false data and basically blacklist us. Other guys like TripAdvisors pull from us. And what TripAdvisor says is, okay, I'll call your API. You need to give me all 10,000 hotels in Bangalore within 1 second. If you don't give me, I'll blacklist you. I'll never call you till you make me happy again. So
I am the ex-employee of Travel Boutique Online. So we have so many GDS to call the APIs, right? So you are talking about every GDS will give you the same result in terms of if you are getting the result for Delhi, Bombay, right? So let's say the example of if you are getting a flight for Indigo from Delhi to Bombay, it's 3,000, right? And again, at the same time, if you are getting the price for same flight from Galileo, but the time is Indigo, you are getting the response very fast, but from Galileo you are getting the response in slightly bit later, right? But the price is low, 2,900. So which you will.
So yeah, so this is a good question, and we have algorithms which kind of do all those. We wait a bit for you guys to respond before we merge, and we also merge results. For example, Bombay Delhi, you might find a very cheap result from Bombay Jaipur, Jaipur Delhi. So basically, we try to combine results also. So I mean, it's most people can't.
If you will, you are saying that you will wait for another result.
Right.
But till you get the result, then you will.
So yeah, so it's a evolving algorithm, right? So what we try to do is if we are not getting results, we show it, then we refine our search results back. So we stream results to the front end. If you see our search results, it's continuously getting updated. And in fact, we are doing something even more cool features where we are going to show personalized SRPs. So for example, Vikalp has 2000 GoCash in his account, right? And we are going to give a discount of 1000. We'll show you results considering the discount he's going to get on the search results. Because very often people don't know, okay, I have to apply this promo code and that promo code, and I don't know what's the final price I'm going to pay, right? So we're doing all these things. So yeah, so basically this algorithm of basically merging results and giving it out is very complicated.
So let's say making calls for every request.
Absolutely, that's a trade-off, right? So that's the trade-off. I mean, we don't make calls every time. So that's why we have caching. So that's why sometimes you see prices being updated.
Right. No, the question that I'm trying to formulate is, do you have an algorithm in place which runs at a certain specific interval, which keeps the data fresh, or is it like
it's not like a cron job. Basically, it's not like a crawl job. We're trying to look at that, but because of the look to book, right? We can't just run a crawl service to all the vendors because we'll simply end up paying them a lot of money. So we have intelligent caching. So basically, when we get results, we store them. Till at such point in time, we know that things are changed. Some of these GDSs, they do give us feeds. So that makes our life much more simpler. We can just listen to a feed and update our cache. But other times we basically, so every time you book, right, every time you go to the booking page, that's a real time reprise which happens. So when we do a reprise, you know, okay, things have changed, and then we update our caches, things like that. So that's the basic algo. Sorry, I couldn't hear. No, that's not what they think, right? They want to show basically consistent data. If they show, because then people will not trust Google. They'll say, oh, okay, I'll not go to Google. So I think we ran out of GoCache.
This was a bad idea.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, we have, people want to give promotions based upon mobile or whatnot.
No. If I use two different mobile phones on two different providers, at the same time I'll get two different prices.
No, as I said, I mean, I'm not sure whether that is intended. I mean, the prices keep on updating. So, I'm not sure that is intended. I mean, we give, but prices for mobile do vary from desktop searches. So, we started out with a simple stack. Django was our mainstay, and we used Redis for things like sessions, MySQL for the DB, and Memcache for caching DB lookups, right? And this was working well. I think the initial team had like 2 weeks to build it, and they did build it, and the amount of traction it got was way more than expected, right? But with increased traffic, transaction, and our feature velocity, things got really complicated. And So basically, code kept piling up in the same Django application, and we kind of we started building monoliths, right? So the problem with that is the code quality started getting worse at a much faster pace. So I'm doing a feature, I have got like, we release 3 times a day. So I got a feature, I have to release it fast. I see a function which 10 if conditions, I just go add a couple more, right? I mean, it's like, and then very soon you got a function which is like 4,000 lines of code and you don't know what's happening there. So technical debt was getting accrued at a much faster pace. The thing is, you can't refactor. I mean, if I may want to refactor it, but then I think, okay, what if I break something, right? What if I regress my performance, right? So I can't take risks in refactoring the code. Same thing. I mean, so certain key components, that some few devs who know that component, but and if he's not in office and I need some change in his code, there's no way I can find my way around it, right? So you need tribal knowledge. You need that one special guy for that one piece of code who will help you out when you're building that feature. And basically, this is the main point, right? So developers are unable to experiment. All of us as devs, we hate being bored, right? We don't want to just do bug fixes or that one small feature. We want to refactor, throw everything out, build things again, and that is really good for us. But because we have a monolith, right? You have this. You don't know where your code is getting the entry points, where it's all touching. Basically, you are unable to experiment, and this is a direct impact on developer productivity and not good. It also had an impact of performance, right? If in Django, if you have 100 URLs in your URL dispatcher, every request will then basically match all those 100 requests before it gets to your handler. Basically, it's a ON lookup, right? Similarly for middleware, if you have tons of middleware, your request will go through all the middleware before hitting your handler. So even though we have New Relic and you can always run C profile and figure out hotspots in your code, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to steer your code through that code path which you think is a problem area, right? How are you going to do that on your laptop? You can, I mean, so it's not easy to identify performance bottlenecks as well as change them. And scaling is basically all or nothing. So you have a payment service. If your payment service is running hot, but everything else is fine, you can't take that one piece of code and run it again. I mean, scale it out. You either scale your whole app or you don't scale anything at all. So that is very inefficient. Yeah, and this is a little bit Python specific. So the SRP algorithm we talked about previously, right? So that is a lot of number crunching. You have data from a lot of people, you apply discounts based upon the user agent, this, that, and all. So, I mean, even though if you have a 4-core machine, in a Django, you're just utilizing 1 core. So how do you utilize all the rest of the hardware that we have? So monolith means we can't do that. I mean, there are ways around it which I'll talk about, which we tried initially and then we did something better. And use the same tool for every job. For example, right, I mean, some of our guys wrote a optimized JSON library, which basically was very fast, optimized in C for parsing JSON. But the problem is, if I am a new service or I'm doing something, I have to use that code. The other option is I have some other library, and basically then you have code bloat. So basically what ends up happening is you use what is being used for everything in your app. And lastly, I mean, this is a big problem. Django is good, you are serving HTML out, but then we have the mobile apps. And we want the mobile apps to have the same or even much more feature velocity than the web. So this is difficult because those guys know Java, they don't know Python, we don't know Java, and things break. Yeah, hold that thought, I'll come back to it. I mean, so there are times where it's a bad idea. Right, that's true. I mean, let's say I am working in my branch, right? I make this change. How do I know I have not broken something else? What do you test it with? What do you test it with? I mean, see, the thing is, realistically, in most QA organizations, we don't, in most organizations, we don't have a comprehensive QA test which gives you 100% coverage. Yeah, so I'm coming to that. So basically, once you start building code, it's difficult to write unit tests. We want to get to what you're saying, right? I mean, we want to get to a place where I can change everything inside, but I run an automated test and I know nothing is broken. So I'm just coming to